Never hearing my father's voice. The only image I have of him was a faded photo hanging on our wall. A memory carried in a silence, and the responsibility passed to my mother, who became both the father and the mother to 10 children. That pain of growing without shaped my purpose. It is that very reason I found Radio Ethiopia, not because I had everything, but because I knew what it meant to have nothing and still be expected to survive. Today we are not just sharing a film, we are telling the story of thousands displaced by overflow of Omo River, more than 70,000 people who lost their homes, their land, and their security. In part 3, we bring you to Arikol IDP site, where our team worked hand in hand with the community, delivering health care in the middle of a displacement and a disease and a cultural celebration. We didn't just provide a medicine, we listened, we learned, and we stood with the people in their most vulnerable moments. This is not just a documentary, it's a memory reflecting the resilience of the people and the mission of radio, bridging the gap, saving life, and empowering the community. I invite you to witness what a compassion in motion looks like in the coming videos.
We woke up before the sun, not in a room, but under the open sky of Omo River. No alarm clock, just purpose. We were tired, we were cold, but our hearts were full. Because this isn't a job, it's a calling. We are volunteers, with empty pockets but a mission burning inside us. More than 70,000 people have been displaced by the flood of the Omo River and the silent expansion of Lake Turkana. Homes vanished, hope scattered. And today, our destination was Arikol IDP site. This is Omo River, the edge of Ethiopia, and this is how our journey to Arikol began. Not because someone ordered us, not because there was a reward waiting, but because we believe when you have nothing, you can still give your presence. And presence in a disaster zone can mean everything. Before we left, we prayed for strength, for courage, for the people we were about to meet. Then, we packed our medical supplies, tied the ropes tight, and turned the engine, ready to serve no matter what we'd face on the road ahead.
As we arrived at Arikol IDP site, we expected silence, grief, the aftermath of displacement. But instead, we heard drums, we saw color. We were welcomed by something powerful, a celebration. The community had gathered for Mifokria, a deep-rooted cultural ritual that survived even the flood. And in that moment, we didn't see a challenge. We saw an opportunity to let healing walk alongside heritage. We spoke to elders, leaders, and youth. Together, we decided, let's bring health education into the heart of this gathering. So, while the music played and hands clapped, we lifted banners, clear, simple visual messages that spoke the language of this community. We thought about malaria prevention, clean water, wash, family planning, and disease control, not in isolation, but in rhythm with the culture around us. To us, it wasn't just a celebration. It was a bridge, a moment when tradition made space for transformation. This is what community-centered care looks like.
READIO. Ethiopia volunteers don't just serve. We adapt, we respond, we rise, even where systems fall. Thousands had gathered for the cultural tradition, but we didn't see a barrier, we saw an opportunity. 1,530 people joined our health education sessions, 630 men, 900 women. We spoke with pictures, clear, simple, powerful. So every voice could feel heard, and every message understood. After the clapping faded, after the Mefkorai celebration ended, we planted our mobile clinic. Not just a tent, but a symbol of healing. This wasn't a clinic with 4 walls, but it had something stronger, compassion. And so we began, screening, treating, linking, teaching, and providing psychosocial support. 253 individuals were screened. Children under 5, pregnant and lactating mothers, adults, carrying wounds both visible and hidden. Malaria testing began. 55 people were tested with rapid diagnostic kits. 1 tested positive and was treated immediately. Because in a place like this, delays can cost lives. Then came the care. 41 children treated, 2 mothers supported, 27 adults received attention. No electricity, no medicine cabinet, no walls, but there was care, there was purpose, there was love. We didn't just treat, we connected. 2 pregnant women were linked for antenatal care. 5 with moderate malnutrition were referred to nutrition program. 2 children with severe acute malnutrition were taken to the health center. 2 suspected TB cases guided to diagnosis and hope. But the ground we stood on was far from easy. Broken documentation systems, very high temperature and wind, no clean water, no working latrines, no essential drugs. Still, we kept going, because that's what READIO Ethiopia volunteers do. We came with empty pockets, but hearts full of purpose. And in the forgotten land of Dasenech, we left behind something that matters: dignity, compassion, hope. That day in Arikol, celebration met service, culture met compassion, and disaster met dignity. This is what it means to rise, not alone, but together. Because in the eyes of a mother holding her malnourished child, in the hands of a volunteer giving care with no clinic, in the heart of a flooded land still choosing joy, we saw it clearly. Humanity survives when we serve each other. So today, we invite you to stand with us, to work beside us, to walk into the forgotten places, and bring. READIO Ethiopia is not just a name, it's a movement of volunteers with empty pockets but hearts full of purpose. Together, we serve. Together, we rise. Together, we remember. Let's bridge the gap. Let's save lives. Let's empower communities. Together.